In this lesson, we're going to discuss data viewers. Data viewers are used to view data in data flows. They can show the data during a package debugging. You can view the data with a grid or with a graph. Here in Visual Studio, I'm going to drag over a data flow task, right-click, go to Edit, and then from here I can drag over a flat file source. I'm just going to connect to any flat file that I have. And after I have it connected, I'll go to my columns. You can see the columns. Go to Preview. We can preview the data here. Click OK. And now I can drag out a row count and just have the data go to a row count. Now I need a variable for that row count, so I'm going to right-click and go to Variables. Just create one on the scope of this data flow. I'm just going to call it int row count. And I'll create the row count with the connection to that int row count variable. Now to create a data viewer inside of a data flow, we can right click on the green line connecting the data flow task and click Edit. And here we have three nodes on the left: General, Metadata, and Data Viewers. I'm going to click on Data Viewers and click Add. In the name box, we can give it a name. I'll just call this After Source. And we can select from Grid, Histogram, Scatterplot, Column Chart. If we click on Grid, we have a Grid tab at the top, and it gives us the columns that we can select from. If we select Histogram, we get a Histogram tab. And now we can select the columns we'd like to visualize. We select Scatterplot, we get a Scatterplot tab. And now we can select an X and Y column. And the last is Column Chart. We get a Column Chart tab, and we can select the column that we'd like to visualize. I'm going to select Grid, click OK, click OK. I'm going to debug the package, and we'll see a grid data viewer appear. Now your grid data viewer may be attached to the side. You can double click on the top to detach it, and it'll be free floating like I have here. I'm going to stretch this out to make it bigger so we can see it. And we can save the data from my flat file. I click on the green arrow, and that is the Continue button. That continues on to the next set of rows. And approximately 10,000 rows will pass through at a time, depending on the row size. In this case, I only have 60 rows in that flat file, so it's one set of rows and one Continue button, and we're done. I'll click Stop Debugging. I'll go back to the data viewer. I'm going to delete the grid view. I'm going to click Add. I'll leave the name as is now. I'm going to click on Histogram, go to Histogram tab, and I'll just select the report year. Click OK, click OK, and we'll view a histogram. And here we can see a histogram. We can see the year at the bottom. There's 1993 and 1994. And on the left hand side we can see the count. We can see we have 33 one year and about 25 the next year. Click Continue, and we'll close the data viewer, and my data flow is completed. We can also use data viewers on different types of sources. So I'm going to delete the flat file source. I'm going to drag it over an OLEDB source, and we'll click on New, connect to the VentureWorks 2008 database. And I'm going to select Transaction History in my drop-down menu. View my columns, click OK. Right-click on the line, go to Edit, select Data Viewers, click Add, select Scatterplot, and I'm going to select Quantity and Actual Cost. Click OK, and debug the package. And our data viewer shows us the data in a graph form now. we can see some data going up the left-hand side and along the bottom of the graph. So we get a good measure of where our data falls at. In the Try It section, we're going to create a data flow, we're going to create a data viewer, we're going to debug the data flow, and we're going to view the data in the data viewer. Here in Visual Studio, I have a package already created. I'm going to drag in a data flow, double click on the data flow. I'm going to drag in an OLEDDB source. I'm going to right click and go to Edit on the source. Click New, connect to AdventureWorks 2008. And the drop down menu for the table, I'm going to select the Sales Order Detail table. View my columns and click OK. I'm going to drag in a row count. And I'm going to connect the source to my row count. I'm going to right click and go to Variables, create a variable, and call it int row count. Go back to my row count, and I'm going to select the variable name in the drop down menu of int row count. The row count is acting just as a dead end for us, so we can use the data viewer after the source. Now I'm going to right click and go to Edit, or you can double click on the green line. Go to Data Viewer, click Add. I'm going to select Grid, click OK, click OK, and click the green button to debug this package. And here we can see the data from our source. We'll click on the green arrow to pass through some more rows, and you can see at the bottom 9,972 rows are being displayed, so approximately 10,000 are displayed in each set. And we can continue hitting the green arrow until all of our rows is passed through. Once all the rows are passed through, the green arrow will now be grayed out. We can close the data viewer and see that our data flow was completed successfully. In this lesson, we viewed the data viewers. We used them to view data in the data flow. We showed data during a package debugging, and we viewed data with a grid and showed that you could view it with a graph.